So now we're going to talk about widgets. Widgets are blocks of content that you can add to your site to provide a little more information and functionality for your visitors. Most themes display at least one or two widget areas. Some themes may have more, and some themes may not have any at all. But check with your theme's instructions to find out what widget areas are available. The Ixion theme displays widget area in the sidebar, and the sidebar is on the right side. And it also displays 4 different widget areas in the footer. So let's take a look at how we would swap out the widgets and then set up some widgets to work with our site. So when we go to the dashboard, we want to go to Appearance and then Widgets. And you can manage widgets with Live Preview, which we'll look at briefly after we go over the basics of widgets. So it's important to note that when you switch themes, sometimes you may have to reconfigure your widgets because every theme, does widgets a little bit differently. So sometimes widgets may get shuffled around in the theme switch. So expect to spend a little bit of time, setting up the widgets to make sure that they are in the place where you want them to appear. So let's look at how this is set up. So you can see all of the widget areas. So sidebar is the name of the widget area, and a widget area can contain any amount of widgets you want. But make sure you put the amount of widgets in there that's reasonable for your site and your content and your aesthetic look for your site. And usually the widget area name should be descriptive so you know where it appears. So just because this is called sidebar, we know that it appears in the sidebar. And you can see that the first word, these are all individual widgets, and then the word text, and then you can see we have 2 text widgets, and that's just the type of widget here. So because it's called text because there's a type of widget called text here. And then if you click the down arrow to the right of the widget box, you can see that the title here, and that's reflected up in this gray area. And then you have the widget content. As you can see, a text widget allows you to add either plain text or HTML. And then you can have another text widget, which is just some about stuff. Like I might want to change this text, I can do that. And let's say I also have a search widget, and this one actually doesn't have a title, so it's just search. And you can see these are all appearing in the sidebar. Find us, about this site, search. And I can reorder these widgets. Like let's say I want the search widget to be at the top. And then it's already saved. So then I just click on my site and just reload it, and I can see it. Well, let's see. I don't really necessarily want the about text in this sidebar because I already have it here, a description here about my site. So I feel like it's a little redundant. So I'm going to move this widget somewhere else. Now I see I already have an About Us widget here. So why don't we just remove this one, and we can only have our About Us widget in the footer instead. And let's look at the footer widgets. So there's up to 4 footer widget areas. So that means we can have 4 different columns of widgets in the footer. And right now we only have 2 that are in use. And that's 1 and 2. And because we only have 2 widget areas in use in the footer, it's showing everything in 2 columns. But Ixion will automatically adjust the amount of columns depending on how many widgets you've placed in the footer widget areas. So let's go ahead, and I would like to move the About Us section to Find Us. And let's add another paragraph. Okay. Now you see how you want the text inside the widget to appear in 2 lines and as a paragraph. But let's say if I saved it like this, and then I go back to my site. You see how it didn't make them into paragraphs? you have to check on automatically add paragraphs. And now you can, in your text widgets, you can have automatic paragraphs. So whenever you hit a line, 2 lines, it'll make a paragraph. So that's a nice example of that feature. But just to keep it shorter, I'm actually just going to have 1 line. And actually, let's move this under to footer widget 2. And having another search box, and let's fill out a couple more things. So when I'm looking for widgets to add to my sidebar, I'm going to look over to available widgets. And these are all of the widgets that are currently available for me to add. So all I would need to do is click on one and then drag it over to use it. And some of the widgets come with WordPress core software, and some of them may come in from plugins. Like for example, you can see some of these widgets have come in through the Jetpack plugin. Now I had installed the Jetpack plugin so that we could use the featured content area in the Ixion theme. So some of the Jetpack widgets came in when the plugin was activated. And as you add other plugins in the future, you might find that you'll find some extra widgets. And even there are even times when widgets may come as part of a theme. So let's take a look at, let's add our custom menu to the footer. As you'll recall from the previous lesson, we created a bunch of menus, and one of them was a short menu. So I'm just going to add the link to my short menu. But, I might want to have some quick links to my navigation. Like I may want to have my, if somebody scrolls down to the page, they may want to get to some certain links. So we can do short menu. Or better yet, let's just put the entire menu at the bottom. And I'm going to type navigation. And let's say I want to put my social menu links also. I can go back and grab another custom menu, just drag it. And this time I'm going to put social links menu. I'm going to put social links. And save it. But I kind of want to show my latest news, like my latest posts somewhere. Like, it's just a recent news, so people can just kind of see what's the latest. So let's take a look at recent posts. And that's a recent post widget is built into WordPress. Just drag it up. And let's just put it, perhaps let's try putting it in, and now this widget has a little bit of customization options. Let's say, and you can actually say how many posts you want, and some general customization. So some widgets come with customizing options and some don't. So it just depends on how you want it, your widgets to go. All right, so now let's just, and there we have it. So we have our contact information, we have our recent posts, we have our navigation, and we have our social links. I think I want to move my site search under, keep my site search here. I want to put my about text under the find us. I feel like they belong more together that way. And so you just keep playing around with your widgets until you have it the way you want. And that's the nice part of the flexibility that you have. You can just set however you want things to be. And then if you want to come back later and change things, you can do so. So let's take a look at the interior page. As you can see, I've got the widgets. The sidebar widget still appears on my posts. But what if I have a page and I don't want to have any widgets on that page? Like for example, on the Our Team page, I don't really want to have necessarily have widgets on this page. I just want it to be a full width page. So then I can just go in and I can edit this page. And some themes, if I look over in the right column under page attributes, some themes will come with a template that will allow you to remove the sidebar. It's a no sidebar template. So check with your theme's instructions to see if your theme offers that template. And when I go back to that page, this page is now a full width page, and so Ixion has designed the page so that if you don't have any sidebar, it just shifts the content over. But you can see I still have a sidebar on all my other pages, but I don't have it on our team. So I can do it on a per page basis. So now let's take a quick look at how we would manage widgets inside the live preview. So I went back to Appearance and Widgets, and I'm going to click on Manage with Live Preview. And now you can see in the customizer, I've got all of my widget areas here. So I've got all the sidebar and all the 4-footer widget areas. So I can just click on one, and then it shows me what widgets I have. And it's similar to the dashboard. I can set the same features. And then I can, if I click on reorder, I can reorder a widget if I move it up or down. And I can see the preview right here. This is useful when you're trying to have a sense of how things will look, so you don't have to go back and reload or refresh. And so you can kind of have a more visual feedback while you're setting up your widgets. And let's say I want to add a new widget. Then it gives me a nice interface here for adding a widget. Like let's say I want to add a calendar. I can see that I've got a calendar. And that allows me to customize my widget areas that way. And we can do the same thing in the footer. If you scroll down, you can see like all the widgets, and you can even click on one of these little these editing buttons, and that way it takes you to edit your menu. If you had a menu, which is a nice touch, just the custom menu, you can go directly to the menu management to edit the menu directly from there, which is something to look at. So when I'm satisfied with my page, I can just click Save and Publish. And then back to the widget section. So that concludes our theme customization walkthrough. What we covered today is just at the beginning. Please see the next slide for resources. They're basically links that will help you to dive in deeper into theme customization. You can also check out the bonus lesson, Week 5, Part 3, for a quick introduction to premium themes. The resources listed below provide more information about the things that we talked about, including custom menus and widgets, the theme customizer, information on the Ixion theme, and how to find help with your theme, and finally, how to dabble into theme development. So if you learn CSS, for example, you'll be able to make more fine-tuned tweaks to the visuals of your theme, and you might want to one day learn about how to make your own theme. It's been a pleasure, and I will see you in Part 3.